Wife wanted open marriage. I make her regret it in the end.
Welcome to Storly. For more wild stories, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, quick friendly reminder that this video will have 2 stories.
I was married for 2 years at the time. Wife is a serious TikTok junkie, sends me at least 20 a day. We are both in our early 20s, start sending ones about open marriages and also some podcasts. A few long talks about how we are young and should try this before we are old and have kids. After a few months of pushing and pushing, I give in and we set up some boundaries. 1. No unprotected intimacy. 2. Nothing in our house and no overnight stays. 3. If sex occurs with someone else, no details and no touching each other for 30 days. And a doctor's visit and cleared before any intimacy between us. We open our marriage. She starts going on dates on Friday nights. I work anyways. I get home normally around 10 p.m. For the first year was kind of fun. She goes out on a date. By the time I get home, she is already home or getting home at the same time. She tells me what they did on the date and she jumps me. These are just dates, no intimacy. During this first year, I myself go on 3 dates, each one goes the exact same way. They find out I am married, and it is not what they are looking for. Was nice meeting you. After 3 dates, I quit. Then, one Friday night, she doesn't get home till like 3 a.m. Comes in, makes a joke about being too sore and tired for anything. See some hickey marks on her chest and thighs. Not going to lie, was hurt and upset by this Monday or Tuesday. I don't remember. She tries to initiate with me, and I remind her of Rule 3. She gives me the "Are you serious?" 30 days, and a doctor's visit. I said yes, deedly serious. This becomes a pattern for us. She goes out with her bad boy on Friday nights, has her fun, then spends the rest of the week trying to get me to change Rule 3. To me, feels like she put me on a shelf. I start avoiding her, working more, being out of the house, even if just out walking, start becoming a lot more physically active, start losing some weight. She is full in a fog of new relationship energy and doesn't notice and thinks I am out doing my own thing. 5 months of being on a shelf. I am not seeing a reason to remain in this marriage. I was selling my happiness so she could be happy. And I was running out of things to sell. Up to this point, she has not broken any boundaries, and every time I bring up, maybe she should step back from him. I am overreacting or blowing this way out of proportion. It's just some fun one night a week. Our 4th wedding anniversary day arrives, and I take the day off work, make her dinner, cleaned house. She get home from work at 4 hops in the shower, get dressed up, tells me she is going to a bar to see a local band and not to wait up. She completely forgot about our anniversary. I am destroyed. I wake up Saturday morning at 9 a.m. and she never came home. Boundary number 2 broken. I send her one simple text. You have broken our boundary of no sleeping over. I am done. At 11:30, she starts calling, tell me she just closed her eyes for a second and passed out, was an accident. I am so sorry, it will never happen again. My unwillingness to even talk about it causes her to wake up out of her fog some. She ends up coming to my work just before we open and makes a scene in front of the whole staff and the owners. I am finally able to calm her down enough, and she leaves. I promised on Sunday we can discuss it. I get home from work Saturday night, and she once again tries to have intimacy with me, and I again tell her Rule number 3. She then tells me that she will no longer be seeing him and wants to close the marriage and work on reconnecting with me. Seems she freaked out when she woke up there, got my texts, and he made fun of her, and she realized how much of an asshole he was. She tries every day to be intimate with me and fails badly. At this point, I have no need or want or desire for her. She is a roommate, barely. The 30 days goes by. She goes to the doctor and gets checked out. She is clean of diseases, but is pregnant. Not sure where her mind was with this, but she comes home excited and tells me we are pregnant. I tell her good. I hope you two will be happy together. Looks at me confused for a few minutes and starts crying. She, a few days later, sends him a text telling him his response is, "Wow, sucks to be, you might want to pass it off as your husband's laters." I file for divorce soon after. She starts doing anything and everything to change my mind about the divorce, make promises, begs, pleads, offers everything under the sun, asking for a chance to fix us. I am polite and nice about it, but not having any of it. Am stuck living with her for a while till out lease is up. We fall into a new pattern. She tries to be intimate with me. I turn her down, she gets upset, I go for a run. My resentment of her is growing just like her baby bump. 3 weeks ago, she comes in my room to talk. She brought home pizza for dinner, starts with how being pregnant she is super horny all the time, and tries yet again to have intimacy with me. I at this point am running out of politeness. Tell her sorry, I am not into fat chicks, maybe hit Tinder. Sure, someone on there would be down for it. She leave my room crying. Also, we had our first divorce hearing, and the judge slaps 6 weeks of MC on us court ordered. We go 2 sessions, kinda a meet and greet thing, talk to us separately to get our stories, I guess. I just want this over so we can move on with our lives. Last Sunday was my birthday. On that Friday before it, she asks me to spend my birthday with her to celebrate it. I decline her invitation. She keeps pushing the subject, and I snap. I tell her that I don't waste special occasions on her anymore. The last one was our 4th anniversary, in which she went out to get knocked up by some pothead loser. I leave her crying in the kitchen, head to work, told her I would see her on Monday for our court-ordered waste of time. Monday morning, I am at MC. She never shows. I call her, nothing. Call her friends, nothing. Call her parents. She got arrested. Sunday morning for DUI and reckless endangerment, and they are on the way. I offer our house for them to stay at. I have a couch at a friend's house. My lawyer goes to the judge and expedites things. My divorce finalized this past Friday. Yesterday, I helped them pack some of her stuff, and today, going to help them load a U-Haul they rented. She gets released tomorrow, and they are taking her back home with them. She wants to see me, but I feel that will just be worse for the both of us. We both need to move on.
Wife admitted to having an ongoing affair with her boss, who's married with 2 kids, after only being married to me for 4 months. Hi all. I really appreciate this community and found it very helpful throughout this process, so I'd like to share a truncated version of my story. My ex-wife and I had been together for about 6 years before we got married last June of 2021. Getting married during a pandemic wasn't easy, but we had a wonderful wedding, and it was one of the happiest days of my life. Fast forward a few months later, and my wife became a completely different person. She opted to go to the office regularly, while I continued to work from home. We both worked from home throughout the pandemic. She worked for a big firm, so the longer hours seemed to be par for the course, but she no longer wanted to spend quality time with me on the weekends, spending a lot of time with her horse, and began to downplay my achievements, claiming I was no longer a go-getter, even though I was doing very well at work. People say that the first year of marriage can be hard, so I started taking my wife on regular date nights to reinvigorate our relationship, but she remained withdrawn and judgmental, which was a big blow to my self-esteem. I racked my brain thinking of what I might have done to make her act and feel this way, but I couldn't come up with anything plausible, so I started to lose sleep thinking I was, possibly, losing my wife to someone else. These were the worst months of my life because I couldn't believe you could lose the person you married so shortly after tying the knot. So I convinced myself it was the pressure of her job that was causing her to act this way, and I opted to suppress the negative thoughts to avoid exacerbating the issues we were having. She was actually gaslighting me the whole time, and I just didn't know it. D-Day. I organized a romantic weekend by the beach, despite my suspicions, in order to try and revive what we had prior to our marriage. I thought this would renew our bond, but she became more brazen with her disdain. I told her I loved her on our way to dinner. She didn't reciprocate, and later that evening she had me take a NSFW photo of her in a bubble bath, and when I mentioned that it was a bit too scandalous for social media, she responded, "That's not what I'm using it for." We have been intimate throughout our marriage, but she refused to be intimate with me on this trip. That's when I finally confronted her on my suspicions and demanded she be honest with me. She denied everything for a while, but I convinced her I had proof I didn't, and she finally confessed. She admitted to sleeping with her boss on numerous occasions for months, and that he was pressuring her to leave me. I went through a panic attack, which I never experienced before, and after finally calming down, I realized what a fool she was for falling for his lies. I told her I was going to inform his wife, and she responded, "She'll find out, but you won't be the one to tell her." That's when I knew my ex-wife had convinced herself she was going to run away with her boss. It was sick and a little evil, and I realized that my ex-wife was never who I married. The real her was this manipulative and vile stranger. She changed my flight that night and sent me to my parents' house and told me she would mail me some boxes of my clothes. I contacted the boss's wife via social media as soon as I got to the airport, and that's when all hell broke loose. Long story short, the boss never planned on leaving his family, and in order to try and save his marriage, he distanced himself from my ex-wife as quickly as possible. Apparently, HR had to get involved, and my ex-wife quickly gained a reputation around her office. She cried and pleaded with me to take her back, but I told her she made the decision, and I'm just completing her plan. Aftermath. Success is the best revenge. Life has been good now that the dust has settled. I live near some of my closest friends, met a wonderful woman, and found a great job in CA. I'm learning to love myself again, and have realized that my ex-wife's opinion of me during our marriage is not a reflection of who I am or my inherent value. I'm truly happier without her, and while I occasionally feel disheartened by what transpired, I feel blessed that this truth came to light before we had kids.
Thank you for staying till the end. Share your thoughts with us in the comments. Also hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to get new wild stories every day. See you on the next one.